Alrighty, folks. So this is in the Black Lives Matter space, and so what researchers found out is that innocent black people are more likely than whites to be wrongfully convicted. Okay, so look. So let's think about this. So a black person that has been in prison for sexual assault is 3.5 times more likely to be innocent than a white person who's been convicted of a similar charge, right? Okay, so then what does that mean? So how are they getting this times number? I really want you to think about this. And so everything has to be considered in regards to black people represent about 13% of the population and white people represent about 60% of the population, give or take, okay? And so then that's what it means by rate. And so even though the numbers may be higher in certain spaces, because that's something that I always hear about in regards to people who say all lives matter or something like that. It's like, well, white people are more likely to, or they're more likely to go to jail. No, they're not more likely to go to jail. There's more white people in prison, and there are more white people who are in prison for certain things. But when you take into consideration that black people are about 13% of the population and white people are about 60% of the population, then that's where the 3.5 times more likely comes in. Okay, and so anyway, so here we were talking about sexual assaults, and so then the disparity is thought that the reason why this is happening is that that the victims are wrongfully identifying the victimizer, right? Or wrongly identifying the black person as the person who did the crime. Now here's the deal. Just in case you're wondering about the power of stereotypes here, folks, because I hear that one a lot too. It's like, well, what power does a stereotype have? Okay, the idea that black people are supposed to all look alike, along with other groups of people, but black people specifically in this space, right, is that the reason why that's such a powerful stereotype is exactly for this reason, is that white people, along with other people, have a hard time distinguishing the difference between black folks. And so then this is how easily something that is stereotypical, that seems stereotypical, can have very serious life consequences for black folks, okay? And so here's another one. And so that here's another one on about murder, that black folks are about 7 times more likely to be innocent than whites, right? And so then, and now here's the deal. If you think about this, right? So if you assume a 50-50 population split on the number of murders, then that means that black people are 4.6 times more likely to be innocent of murder than whites. So now when it comes to murder, right, half of all defendants exonerated for murder are black. Okay, and so this is a rate that's 7 times that for innocent whites. Okay, so here's how they got that number. So if you assume that it was 50-50, right, which you shouldn't, but let's just assume that it's 50-50. So 50% is committed by of people that are exonerated were black. That if you take a population into consideration, again, right, that means that black people are 4.6 times more likely to be innocent of murder than whites, given that percentage, right? And so they're saying that this, now here's the deal. They're saying that this is happening because of the high homicide rates in the black community, which is true, by the way. There is a high homicide rate in the black community. However, I'm going to poke a little hole in that, and that in regards to murder convictions for black defendants, 22% were more likely to involve police misconduct than those of white defendants. Now here's the deal. Again, let's just take a set number. I don't know what the number is. The article didn't give me enough on this one. And so here, let's just take a set number. Let's say that 30% of the convictions on white people that were wrongfully put into prison, let's say it was 30% that happened on white folks. Well, 22% higher, because that's what they meant when they said 22%. They meant 22% higher, not more likely. That's bad reporting on their side. And so 22% higher, then that would mean 52% on the black side. Yeah, are y'all keeping up with me, right? And so 52% on the black side, 30% on the white side. And this is, like I said, I'm making those numbers up. I don't know what those numbers are. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less, but this is the idea, right? And so you take that 52% and that 30%, and then you control for population, then that means that black folks are actually 8 times more likely to be involved, that black cases for murder are 8 times more likely to involve police misconduct than white defendants. That sounds like a Black Lives Matter argument to me, right there. Anyway, so here's another one. While black and white Americans use illicit drugs at about the same rate, remember that. That's an important thing to remember. Black and white folks, they use drugs about the same rate. That black people are 5 times more likely to go to prison for drug possession than whites. Now, I know what a lot of people do on this one. They think to themselves, well, black people are more likely to sell it. I don't think that that's true, player. But if you want to stick to that line of argument, that's fine. But we're not talking about selling. We're talking about possession right now. And so then for the fact that you can be 5 times more likely to go to prison off of drug possession, man, that is just, right, that's a huge big deal, right? And so then that means that innocent black people are about 12 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted of drug crimes than white people. According to this report, right? And so then, and the primary reason that they're thinking for this one is that black communities are targeted, if you would, by police officers in regards to trying to find people that have drugs and whatnot. Look, I'm going to add a little bit more to that one because I think not only is there this racial profiling and police officers are going into these communities and whatnot, but I also think that police officers, I don't have any data on this one, but I just know this one from a lot of stories, and maybe I shouldn't even put it out there, but the idea that black people are more likely to go to prison for lesser crimes than white people are. And so being caught with marijuana is not seen the same in regards to black people and white people and whatnot. Well, honestly, that's just the data that I just got finished reporting, so I don't feel bad about that one at all. But then, look, this is the last one. To cap it all off, if you're African American and wrongly convicted, and on average it takes you 3 more years to get let out than an innocent white person. What else do I got to say about that? And so anyway, that enough said on that one. And so 3 things that can help fix all of this stuff. Look, this is going to sound so cliche, but it's just so real. Police officers actually have to take an innocent until proven guilty approach on this one. Right? It's like that. And again, I know I'm telling police officers how to do their job, but for real, that's definitely part of this. And that there should be criminal consequences for misconduct. I mean, literally an eye for an eye. That's how I'm thinking about it. And I know that might not be the best way to approach this, but the idea, not just discipline, but for real, that if there is misconduct, that this thing should be declared as criminal. And maybe that will help stop things going down. And then you know what? And maybe all of that stuff doesn't happen, but there should be substantial compensation for the victims, right? From what I hear, from what I've been able to read so far, is that they don't even after you've been wrongfully accused and convicted and all of this stuff, they don't even help you out or anything, give you money and stuff like that. It's like, sorry, our bad. Let's help fix this. I don't know, pay for my education, help me find a job, something like that. But no, that's not what's going on. And I think that's just sinful right there. So anyway, so make sure, folks, that if you have any comments or questions, to leave that down below. If you like what you're hearing, make sure you subscribe and share, and check out my website, brucehoskins.com, to figure out more about who I am and what I do. Take it easy, y'all. Peace.